painting a cute teddy in winter scene. This is going to be super fun and super cute and very beginner friendly. I'm going to be breaking this lesson down step by step. There's no part of it that I'm not going to explain to you. Every color mix, every tool, everything I do will be done in real time and thoroughly explained. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
This is a live stream, and my husband helps me bring these live streams by you by running the streamer and making sure that our robotic cameras are zoomed in and totally focused on what we're doing so that you can follow along at home. If you are here for the live and you have a question, be sure and put that all in caps. Nobody will think you're yelling at us. One of the mods may answer, one of the community members may answer, or you may get your question answered live on the show. If you'd like to sign up for text messages, jump through there on the screen. Is put up the number. You can sign up so you can be notified whenever we're going live. We'll send you out a text for that. And so that's kind of nice. And I want you to check the description. So in the description, you'll see that there's a few lines of text and then it says more. You want to open up the more. I have to open it up twice on my phone. And in it's going to have the materials that we're doing for today's class. And it's also going to have a link to the website for the traceable for today's class. And it has a link to my art store. So all of that is there, hidden in the description down below. Pretty much everything you need for this lesson is hidden down there. And you just expand open and it's all there. All right, John.
Yes.
How are we doing?
I think okay.
Do we have a good stream?
We do.
How is the stream health?
It says excellent.
Excellent stream health. I feel like given that, we can begin and go over the materials we're going to be using today. John's going to make me little. So I'm going to be here with you this entire lesson up here, like a little bit small, but that way you're not just looking at my hands. We're going to be here together. I have an 11 by 14 canvas on my easel today, and I have on it the wishes, hope, health, and love written in chalk pencil, so we can put that into the universe. I've got Mars Black, Yellow Ochre, Cad Yellow Medium, Quinacridone Magenta, Cad Red Medium, Ultramarine Blue, Burnt Sienna, Dioxazine Purple, Titanium White. This right here is satin glazing liquid. It helps slow down the drying time of my paint and allows me to blend and extend the colors and to glaze. So it's a really fantastic product. I love it a lot and I use it very, very much. I also, for the snow splatter, have golden fluid acrylic. These come in 1 ounce bottles because you don't need a lot of it for snow splatter or anything. But a kind of fun tip is that craft bottle paint is a very similar consistency to this. This is a little more fluid, but you can, if that's what you've got, is like one of those little like plaid bottles of paint, you should be able to splatter with that. Okay. You don't have to run out and buy this. Though if you do, you will enjoy it. I like it very much, which is why I have the big bottle. All right, let's go over the colors again. Mars Black, Yellow Ochre, Cad Yellow Medium, Quinacridone Magenta, Cad Red Medium, Ultramarine Blue, Burnt Sienna, Dioxazine Purple, Titanium White. Just because I went over that real fast the first time.
That's okay.
I sped through.
That's right.
Sped through.
You recapped.
I recapped. That way we know. All right, let's put up step 1 so we can start having some fun. Now, I mentioned that there was a link to the website and the traceable. A traceable is a printout that you can do that has the line drawing on it. And you can tape this down to your canvas in 4 places. And you want to have some type of transfer medium between it and the canvas. I use a product called Saral paper, this blue paper right here. It is this product here. I don't work for them. I just tell you about the good things. Saral. It is for transferring images onto canvases. Like with traceables, that's like what it's made for. And the important thing to know is like a little bit, it may seem a little bit pricey for a transfer paper, but it lasts forever. So like 1 sheet I can use for like 10 paintings. So it's very cost effective when you consider how long it lasts. So you want to transfer or draw in, lightly sketch in the image. I'm going to draw this in paint so you can see it. And I recommend, like, once you have your lines on, whether you use the traceable or you freehand it in, that you also sketch the bear in paint as I'm doing now. That way we can do the background and not lose our bear.
Can I make a very special welcome?
Yeah.
To the first time moderator Opera Pink has joined us officially.
Welcome, Opera Pink. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
So just so you know, on our channel, moderators are not art cops. They are ambassadors to this channel. They help you find, I have 3,000 videos. So if there's a video that answers your question or is a painting subject that you're looking for, generally our moderators are people who've been with us a long time. We've been doing it 10 years. and they just know where the videos are.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also very experienced painters themselves, and so they're just here to be helpful. And so don't fear the wrenches, embrace the wrenches. Our wrenches are lovely. All right, I'm going to get my brush wet. This is a number 6 Raphael Sepia. You can use the number 4, you can use the number 6. It doesn't really matter which pack you got. This comes in a pack of 2 brushes, and so you can end up with 2 different things, but it doesn't really matter which one you have for this because we're going to just sketch this in. I'm using my yellow ochre, and I'm going to come here up at the top. I'm going to arc over, and we're going to go down. Let's come back here. Down. Add a little ear. Add a little ear. And if you want a copy of the photo, I don't distribute them, but I do put up the reference photo on my Facebook page. And oftentimes in group, my Facebook group. So you can find that there. It's watermarked, so you will know it's the right one. I'm going to come in the middle and make the little round bear nose. Sketching in paint. Let's make another little round nose inside there. It's a little bit squished though. Put in our little mouth. I'm going to add an eye circle right here, and then I'm going to come across, well placed, and do another little eye circle right here. Now at the neck, I've got a bit of a scarf. I like to come in and make these little folds. It's jauntily tied, so it's sort of fun.
Ah.
Do the little bow and the little knot in the center. I'm going to come off here and bring a little arm down. Finish off that little necktie.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's fun. Little fold. Curl that in. There we go. A little fold. Figure out how I want to do that one. I'm going to come over here and add the other scarf in. Some little folds in there. Give ourselves another little arm. This is a really cute teddy. I love this idea of a teddy in winter. I wanted to pick one that wasn't sad, though. I wanted a happy teddy because I feel like we all need a happy teddy in our lives right now. That is the teddy that we need right now, is a happy teddy. Catch that in there. Let's give our leg a little joint. Bring that back. Come around in a nice little circle. We're using the yellow ochre because it's going to be the base of the color of our bear, and so it will blend in and not, break the line of our little drawing. Make it longer. The bottom, and there we go. So that is our teddy sketched in. Now I want this to be completely dry before I paint the background.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm going to dry it with my hair dryer. John's going to talk to you about, do we have any garage sale boxes left? Are they all gone?
I don't know. I'll have to go look.
Okay.
But I'll talk about other stuff.
You can talk about other stuff then.
We'll shamelessly self-promote.
You do that, and I'm going to dry the bear.
Okay. So I'm going to say thank you guys rather than maybe shamelessly self-promoting. I'm going to say thank you guys for coming and being here because I really love seeing all of your smiling faces out there. Lovely people who are taking the art journey with us. We just think it's awesome. So, Lindsay, I'm not sure how many hoots this is. I'll check it with Cinnamon as soon as we get back. We'll make sure we do everything we can. Thank you guys for being here. We love seeing you guys. We love being here. And that was I used my plug time to say thank you to everybody.
Oh, that's a good use of your time.
It was shameless. I love everybody time.
I want to say hi to everyone who came to today's live stream and hi to everyone who is coming up for the replay. I really appreciate you guys showing up for these lessons and spending time with me. Thank you so much. Let's get our T-square rulers out. We're going to make a straight line. So this is a T-square ruler. I'm using the Art Alternatives one. These should be under $5 in my opinion. Generally, you can find them somewhere for under that amount of money. And I'm going to put it to just below the little curve out of the bear.
Now, real quick, if you were using a traceable and sterile transfer paper, would you need to repaint the bear in, or can it just be chalked?
Yeah, I would paint the bear in and dry it. That way you can work the background and not worry about losing it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I would do that. I would absolutely do your sketch in or your traceable, and then use the yellow ochre to paint over those lines so that when we come back to the bear, your drawing is there. My mom uses a Sharpie. She Sharpies in her stuff.
Oh, that's brave.
It's very brave. It is very brave. But I'm just saying that she does that so that the anchor lines remain there and so everyone can see it. But really, for you guys, it's so that your anchor lines are there and you can see what's going on. Now we've got to do this is a very soft background. Very soft blended background. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and get one of my 1-inch oval mops. Right? And I'm going to come over and get a little water on it. Little glazing liquid to help keep the paint from drying out. And I'm going to go ahead and grab titanium white, a smidge, that's just a little bit, and another smidge of burnt sienna. So a little smidge of ultramarine and a little smidge of burnt sienna. And we're going to paint the whole base of this canvas up to that line with this color.
With the snow base?
The snow base. It's a very light snow base. Paint around my little bear.
And it's surprising you don't go right in there with white. You use this like grayish color.
Mm-hmm. We're going to use it. We're going to use a toned color.
Does that create the shadowy colors?
That gives us some place to start with our snow, so it's not just bright white paint. It's still pretty bright.
Sorry, guys. I moved the wrong camera.
Smidge.
I was trying to move this camera so I could come down here and kind of look at this and see what she's doing with this. Oh, and of course she moves to the other side of the canvas.
Well, we got to paint all the sides of the canvas. You can see how the lines being painted in help me already.
Like a wildlife photographer trying to catch the brush. The elusive brush.
The elusive brush running around the canvas. So we've got that low part painted in. Now as we go up, I'm going to take a little more of my ultramarine blue and my burnt sienna together, and it's going to make a gray. A little glazing liquid on there. I'm going to come right here, back and forth, and paint that up. Like, let's come here. Once I have it there, I'm going to come with a second brush, same kind of brush, and I'm going to softly blend this out. A little more glazing liquid. Hopefully it's all still pretty dry, pretty wet. That's what the glazing liquid does. It keeps the paint from drying out on me. So I have a chance to do the technique I'm trying to do.
And, a
little bit darker than I planned. I'm going to come here again with my dry brush and soften that little transition right there. See how we softened it?
Yeah.
We want it to be as soft as we can make it.
Now, again, the reason why you're not just painting the whole background in and then painting the bears, because then you'd have to paint the bear white.
Yeah.
because it wouldn't you couldn't get uniform coverage.
Yellows are very transparent. Whenever you're painting anything that yellows, and yellow ochre is a yellow, and honestly, browns are kind of a yellow, or you can think of them as an orange or a yellow, but they're transparent. So you definitely want to use this method and kind of sketch around it or paint it white in first. So this is a very light toned canvas. We're starting to get the background in, the light blending in. Starting to, and you can see I'm just painting around my bear, and the yellow ochre is keeping those lines for me. This is almost like a toned canvas. Like we're toning the canvas. This is almost like that, but what we're doing is just making sure that we have that first kind of fuzzy transition. Working the paint into my canvas a little bit up here. Now, some things will happen once I've painted this is one, it's going to take all the acrylic paint, the subsequent layers of acrylic paint really well.
Yeah.
And it's going to give me a base to build up color and layers on. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my brush, I'm going to wipe it out with my towel. I'm going to turn my canvas to the side and kind of dust this back and forth. There we go. And then we're going to want to dry this again with our hairdryer.
Dry it again.
Dry it again.
Can't imagine that.
Try it and try it.
So this time I will say thank you guys for coming and joining us. We do have a store online where you can go to. If you go to the artsherpa.com and look in, there's a big banner that says, "Come open our store." And sometimes we have garage sale boxes in there. I don't know if we have any more available right now, but we've got some new ones that we're going to be putting up here very shortly. I have to do a couple more meetings on how exactly we're going to finalize those packing boxes, but they include some requested items that you guys have asked for. So I'll tell you more about that as soon as we know. But we have lots of other great stuff out there. And yeah, I guess that's about all the time I have to talk about that.
That's all the time you have to talk about that. All right, I'm going to turn my canvas to the side here. I'm going to take my burnt sienna and my ultramarine blue together. And I'm going to make a color that's a little bit more brown than blue.
Oh, wow. Anne-Marie Pratt, member for 45 months.
Anne-Marie, congratulations. How are you doing? I'm just going to make sure that this has got a nice load in it. We're going to come here and I will come back to that spot on the shoulder. Give ourselves a little bit of a line here. I'm going to take a round blender and blend this a little bit, fuzz it a little bit. This is a number 12 Princeton Select Round Blender. You just want a brush that will like blend. Put that in my brush bucket for just 2 seconds. I love the round blender. It's a brush I do recommend because it diffuses acrylic paint so well. Hopefully. What I'll have to check is if I got a good background line. If I didn't, I may have to put it back in. I'm using my ruler to help me. There we go. I'm just dusting this right here. So it's still pretty dusty. Rinse this out. Put that kind of to the side.
Can you square that up for me?
Yes, I can. Let me get it back on.
There we go. And yeah, I'll have to
tape it back down into its little spot. I shouldn't have to turn it on its side again. Sometimes it's easier to do something on the vertical than it is the horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, because I can't lean at all to the left.
To the left.
I can't lean in any direction that way because my head ends up being in the camera. I find that switching it to a vertical really helps me. Now I'm going to get back into my brush here. I'm going to rinse it well out.
Same step?
Yes, same step.
Same step, yeah.
And we're going to take, rinsed it well out, and we're going to take a little bit of my brown and a little bit of my blue, ultramarine blue. And I'm going to begin to paint this diffusing background. Now the fight I have with the glazing liquid is keeping the paint opaque enough. I'm going to add some little bits in the corner. I'm going to make these irregular kind of out of focus little shapes. Out of focus little background. We're going to bokeh. It's a little more blue, but that's okay.
Man. Now I just have Weird Al in my head singing B-O-C-A bokeh.
Well, he would do that. He just dropped a new song.
I know.
I was just very excited about this morning. I keep telling John about it. Weird Al dropped a new song.
But then
just trying to make this a very kind of soft, irregular. I'm dancing this around.
Up at the easel, the Sherpa sits.
It's kind of a crisscross back and forth. Now, I don't want to dry it. And I want to come in and get some of my white. Little glazing liquid, but I want to get my white. I come in and start to...
B-O-C-A bokeh.
We're going to start to bokeh. And I'm using a very soft pressure on my brush. And I'm using the shape of my brush to create the kind of round out of little focus circles. There we go. We're going out of focus. It's great how it goes in. It does help that sometimes I go down, sometimes I go across. I use the brush to create these directions. I am working fairly quickly. That's one of the things that makes acrylic challenging and why we use glazing liquid is it slows down the speed at which I have to work, but I still work fairly quickly.
As the furnace kicks on and sucks all the moisture out of the air.
It also does. The furnace also just, if you're running a furnace to like heat your house, it does suck all the moisture out of the air.
'Cause it's snowing.
'Cause it is snowing. I'll bring a little bit right here. Just brush it real lightly. Brushing it real lightly.
Now, if you didn't have that brush, is there a general suggestion?
If I didn't have this brush, I would do the background with a hog round.
Hog round?
Mm-hmm. And more of a scumble technique. Or I might use a hog bristle bright. Or I might use a soft fan brush. A brush that was too soft for my regular acrylic painting could do a very nice job doing this background.
You mean like a blush brush?
A blush brush, yeah.
Like if you just used one out of your makeup.
Well, once you use the blush brush out of your makeup, it is no longer
It
your
can't go
blush brush.
back.
It can't ever go back. And one of the things I'll say about that is that if you buy inexpensive makeup brushes to do this with, like you go to Five Below, wash those thoroughly before you use them the first time on
They
your
shed.
canvas. Otherwise, they're going to shed all over.
That's good to know.
I'm going to take a little bit more of my ultramarine blue and my burnt sienna.
Some thrifty brush thoughts.
Mm.
Thank you.
Do we have some thrifty brush thoughts?
Well, just that, going to Five Below and getting,
Yeah. No, some people have done that and they've had success, but you got to wash those brushes out.
Yeah, I'm not like saying you're going to go there and expect to get,
We're going to dust this back and forth. Yeah, you're not going to get, by the time you get a brush equal to this brush, you've spent as much on your makeup brush as you would on the art brush.
Right.
So, and you can find these on sale a lot. The Princeton Select line is in like tons and tons of stores. It's in our store.
Yeah.
And they're pretty mid-price brush.
And thank you, Heather C.
Thank you, Heather C.
Yes, there is a traceable for
Always
this.
Heather C. Yes, there is a traceable. It is on the website, ready for you to download and use.
The website.
So see how we're just using brush strokes that aren't in focus. We're not keeping them sharp, we're keeping them soft, and that gives the sense that it's not close to us, it's in some distant in the weather. I'm coming back with this dark color to add a little shadow back in. A dry brush down here. Dry brushing. That means I have a little bit of paint on my brush. I'm just dusting down a little bit of color.
Dusting. Oh, and thank you, JC.
Thank you, JC. We have any questions?
I appreciate it. I was yawning, so I just looked back over here and saw all of the stickers, and I just appreciate it. And there's some medicinal donuts being passed around.
Oh, medicinal donuts are the best.
I'm fond of them myself.
Especially the digital ones.
Mm.
If you're brand new here, if you come to a lot of live shows and you're active in the chat, one of the things that the community does is if they come to a show late, they bring digital donuts. It's real sweet, and it's a long tradition. Well, long 10 years. It's a long time tradition for YouTube. I mean, 10 years on YouTube is like a million years.
It's true.
In regular human life. I have seen so many updates to the platform. I feel like back in my day, back when videos could only be 7 minutes long. All right. I'm going to rinse that out. I got a nice little background there. I'm going to dry it with my hairdryer.
Are you?
I am. I'm going to dry that with my hairdryer.
Dry
I'm going to call that out of focus. Another suggestion that you can do for this kind of technique, if you want to do it, is round pouncers, doing round circles. Also create that kind of background. So if you have the pouncers, that's another way of doing that. There's so many ways to do things.
So many.
So many. Now, the ones I pick I pick them because they are the easier ways to do things. So I pick that brush because it makes my life easier. Just generally the Princeton Select Round Blender and the Princeton Select Oval Mop, these two in combination, make my life just easier. So those are brushes they're beyond convenience because they do genuinely make my life better when I'm painting. I don't have to fight so hard to get the results. That's why I like them. That's why I like them. Okay. Now that I have gotten on my soapboxes about why we like those brushes, I'm going to dry this.
Yep.
And then we'll come back.
Okay. So what I'm going to say is thank you guys for all the support and the questions out here in chat. The digital donuts are part of the little emojis that you can make. So if you're in chat and you click add emojis, you can scroll down there and there's all sorts of emojis down there that are really fun to play with. And then there's donuts is down in the food section. You can just play with the donuts there, and they're all free to use. If you join Emoji Club, which is a very nice way of supporting us here on YouTube, that's just like a couple dollars a month. You get some of those custom emojis, and it shows up in chat. Thank you, Hope in Jesus. That's an awesome sticker. I appreciate that you've learned with us. Thank you so much. Let me unmute her over there. Oh, there she goes.
I'm unmuted.
And if you want to learn more about supporting us as a patron, you can go out to Patreon and the Art Sherpa. Find out a whole bunch about us. There's links in the description down below.
Down below. Now I have 2 different examples of what is technically both brights, but you can see there's some differences between them. This is actually more of a flat, but it's called a bright in the line. This is Simply Simmons Bright, and this is in the number 10 in a hog bristle brush. This is a number 18 Bright by Raphael from the Dioxazine line, also in a hog bristle brush. This brush is a more economical brush, and of the economy brushes, the Simply Simmons line, I like them as a line of economy brushes. Their faults are that if you leave them in water, the paint will crack.
Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna make an observer comment.
Yeah.
These things, they may look like they die, but they just stick around forever, because like she'll have one that has broken off paint and it's ferrule loose, and she'll pull it out and go, "It's a scruffy brush," and still
these
use
are
it.
both in great condition.
I know,
just
but
both
even
used brushes. This one was made this short. I didn't wear it down to this length. It came this length.
But I mean, in the past with those number 10s, you've used those for a number of years.
Yeah,
That's
no, they hold on. Yeah, no, this is by no means. No, you'll know the older ones because they'll be a little cracked in the paint, but that's okay. I'm going to use this. Now, with hog bristle brushes, I'm going to tell you a tip that's going to make you so happy to know, because it's going to prevent you so much pain. When you bring home a new hog bristle brush, whether you buy it on Amazon or you go into Michael's, you grab one from our store, it doesn't really matter where you get them, whether you buy the Simply Simmons line or the very nice Dioxazine line, doesn't matter. You want to take that brush to your sink and vigorously wash it with soap and water to pull all the loose hairs out. Otherwise, you'll learn what it's like to remove hairs from your canvas, which is no one's favorite.
Need a pair of tweezers.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. So let's skip the shedding and just enjoy the painting. All right, I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet, but I'm going to dry it off on my towel. I have a towel in my lap. I always have a towel in my lap, and that helps me pull water out of my brushes. I bring it to my lap a lot and pull the extra water out, because if a brush is too wet, then the acrylic paint kind of, it sort of falls apart. I'm going to grab a little bit of this blue, and I'm going to come over to my white. Make kind of a little dusty blue here. And I am going to just very carefully dry brush along here. Dry brushing over the background. Sometimes I wipe the towel like even after when I'm dry brushing, just to make sure it's dry brushing. Wiping it. I'm just wanting to put little bits of color down. Then I'm going to get into more white. And come here and brush that in. And get a little more white. I haven't gone and gotten any more water, so it's really dry brushing now. Dry brushing is another way to get subtle color changes into what you're doing. Come over on this side, and we're going to dry brush a little bit of white. Bring it around. Dry brush. Bring it around. I may have to, on occasion, take my brush to the water bucket to rinse the paint out, because the acrylic can start to dry on the brush. Painting it back and forth. Dry brushing. Dry brushing is where it's not like totally going into the canvas. It's sitting on top of the canvas and just dusting it. It's a great way to blend. I'm gonna just come here. It's another way of blending besides using a blending medium.
Now,
I'm going to just bring this across here. Yeah, we're just softening everything with the dry brushing.
Yeah. I have a question when you're ready.
I am super ready. We're just dry brushing.
Okay. So, Ruby would like to know,
Hi, Ruby.
where is the best place for me to suggest a painting that you may have never done?
Well, I do read my comments here all the time, so this isn't, but I don't necessarily see every comment. You can email support@theartsherpa.com and make a suggestion there, or you can catch me on social media somewhere and leave a comment. A couple
Facebook?
places. Facebook is a great place to run me down. And
We have a group.
don't message me in Messenger because I have so many messages at this point that have built up. I barely see anything anymore.
They're a
And
flood.
Facebook puts half of them in this weird other folder that I can never find.
But what's interesting is that if you suggest them in groups, sometimes you'll be like puffins, and then somebody like, well, here's the 3 puffins you should done, and you'll be like,
That's true.
octopus.
A
and
lot
like,
of times
here's the 4
I
octopuses.
have done it. There's a few things like I haven't done a shoe bill yet, and there's a few things I could say I haven't done. I'm kind of playing with the thought of doing a hippo. I'm going to grab a little glazing liquid into it right now.
No
I'm
pterodactyls.
still dry brushing. No pterodactyls, but I've done a pterodactyl because I did the dino paintings and there were pterodactyls in the sky.
Oh yeah, man, I can't even get you there.
No, you really can't. I'm just doing it. So I'm just dusting this.
Everyone is very much enjoying the cutie cute bear.
It's a cutie cute bear, and he's going to be. I wanted one that was happy. I did not want a sad bear. No sad bears today. Grabbing a little more blue. And this is going to be a little bit. Let's get some glazing liquid in here. And I'm going to be a little more multi-directional with this. Come around the sides a bit. I think helps the look. You can paint the sides of your canvas if you don't feel like framing. I'm just brushing around, slight pressure. Almost like a scumble.
Mm-hmm.
Scruffing and scumbling. Scruffing and a scumbling.
Scruffy scrumbling.
I'm going to come under here with a little more blue. I might even come here and grab a little of our gray. Under the bear. A little bit of gray. Under.
Mm-hmm. I see it.
And blend that out. When you're doing snow scenes, unless it's a clear, bright blue sky, you don't have sharp shadow. So you want to do shadows, but you want to remember to soften them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless your sky, if it's a clear blue day, you can do a crisp shadow across the snow.
Crisp.
Crisp shading, crisp shadow. All kinds of localized color. It's super fun. Work that brush around. Work it. It's fun. You can have fun while you're painting. That's allowed.
Which should be part of it. If you're not enjoying yourself, you should examine what you're doing.
Yeah, it's okay to take your craft seriously and really want to learn techniques and really want to learn how to do this well. But remember, keep it fun. Don't twist that knife on yourself where you start going, I didn't do the technique right. I didn't execute this well. I had trouble here. I'm going to tell you right now, it's easy for beginners to see every mistake they made and miss everything they did right. So my big ask of you is, as you're painting this, don't obsess over what you perceive or feel are mistakes, right? But really try to go, where did I really get it? When did it get easy? What was working for me? Because you want to start stringing those moments together as an artist.
Right.
And that's how your personal technique bucket comes together. It's a lot a part of how you get to being doing original art.
Right.
Is listening to that part of yourself, because then you'll start to have confidence in your techniques and what you're doing, and you'll start to be able to pull those together in a symphony and create something unique as you're going. But it takes a minute to learn how to do that. Takes a second. All right, let's rinse our brush out. We've got some paint on the canvas already.
This is great.
Yeah, we're doing well. Put this under here. I am going to dry this with my hairdryer though.
I thought you might.
Because I rest my hand on my canvas a lot. There's usually a bunch of paint on my wrist.
Yeah.
And do this, and then we'll start painting our bear.
It's not uncommon here. We have to thoroughly dry before we go on to the next step. So if you guys are just joining us here for the first time, I try to push the commercial button during the drying breaks. That way the YouTube algorithm doesn't insert them automatically over the top of a lesson somewhere. Because if we don't manually insert them there, then they automatically insert them, and they insert a billion of them. So we find this way strikes a nice balance between YouTube's overlord control on the algorithm and a gentle nod to say, could you please do it here? And which I think they somewhat, it works out for us. So, but sorry that has to happen.
What?
Just a commercial insertion.
Oh, yeah. We got to do those. YouTube likes those. It's better not to let them make up their mind because they'll put an ad in every 2 minutes. Sometimes I'll get a complaint where someone's like, I like you, but that's too many ads. And I'll look and it's like 100 ads in the first 10 minutes.
Like, what?
It's just like, oh, I don't let it do any. I need help. I need strength. Strength.
All right, we'll get that out of there.
Got to get my sippy going. Yeah, they just never wanted anyone to ever get in there. Thank you so much. I find it's good to stay, I like to stay hydrated when I paint. It's good to have something with a cap on it so that paint doesn't get in it. Because you don't want to eat or drink your paint. I think I'm going to put out a little brown, maybe down here. So I'm not having to drag that brown down here. So this is burnt sienna. I'm just putting out a little bit down there. And I'm going to use a brush called a D brush. This is a number 8 Raphael Textura D brush. If you don't have this, you can use a brush called a filbert. A filbert is a brush this is a grainer, but a filbert is a brush that's kind of rounded at the toe. If you don't have a filbert, you could probably get away with a bright putting this in, just trying to paint this in. But I like the roundy edge of this. I like when it's on the flat edge, and then I have a blending edge. So this brush has a filbert side where it's rounded, and then it has a blending side, like a round blender. It's a really cool Raphael Textura D brush. I do like them. I'm going to go ahead and get a little glazing liquid on my brush so I don't have to get any water in there. And I'm going to grab some brown and black. And then I'll bring it over to my yellow ochre.
Alice was asking.
Hi, Alice.
If you had ever used ribbon or decorative, glued decorations to the edge of the canvas.
Oh, yes.
For framing.
Oh, yes. I have done some. I've even framed it and then painted the painting over the frame. And put a little shading here. Soft little shading. The inside of our ear. And we'll come here. Again, hit a little soft little shading. Inside of our ear. Come under here. We're doing what's called blocking in. Come under this little ribbon here. See, the brush gives me several edges to work with, and I do like that. I will tell you the truth, I do.
It's a multi-brush.
It's a multi-brush. I'm kind of got a dry brush here, and I'm just working out the paint. I can get a little more yellow ochre as I'm going. I'm going multi-direction because he's fuzzy, so I don't have to be so worried about being directional. Getting a little bit of the belly in. Glazing liquid. I'm going to come to the ear. A little bit of my yellow ochre. Just putting them in. And then we're going to come, I think we've got another little shadow I want to put in right here. In this corner. Coming down. And then a little bit along that little chin here. I'm using the edge of the brush. A little bit of yellow ochre into it. A little bit of shadow right here. And sometimes I will like wipe my brush.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing is like scumbling here to blend it out. Come here too. We're going to have snow here, but you still want to shade. Kind of curling that up. Using the blending side of the brush right now. Where I want to have a crisp edge, I use the smooth side along there and I can get a sharp edge. And when I want to blend, I flip it over to the round side. If I didn't have this brush and I was doing a bright, I would use the corner of the brush like this. See how I'm doing?
Kind of do. Let me see if I
On
can
the
go
corner
from
of this brush. If I didn't have my D brush, I would be using this brush like this. And then where I wanted sharp edges, I would be painting it here. It doesn't really matter the brush. It matters like the technique and how you're using the brush. And we have lots of highlights and lots of paint to put on here, but we're just getting the bear kind of worked in.
Which size is that one?
This is the number 8. I think that the number 8 and the number 4 and the number 0 are the 3 sizes that I really, really use. 8, 4, and 0. They come in a bunch of sizes. They can get quite large. You can do large canvases with these brushes. They make this is a 250-year-old brush company, and they don't just make brushes. They make brushes.
They make serious brushes.
Serious. Like these ferrules are never going to be loose. Never ever going to be loose. I mean, you could maybe loosen them with like neglect and stuff, but they're not coming from the factory messed up.
Right.
I'm going to just get a little more glazing liquid in here. I'm using just a smidge of glazing liquid to keep the paint from drying on my brush. See how I'm coming on the edge to get the sharp, crisp edge?
You smidge away there.
I smidge. It's a technical term, man. Smidging is absolutely allowed. I don't care what anybody says. You can smidge away.
Is it imperial or metric?
You're so funny.
Just, you know.
As if I would know.
Do you have quarter smidges or eighth smidges, or are they like half smidges, tenth smidges? You know, is it base 10 or is it base whatever we feel like?
It's base whatever we feel like.
It's imperial.
I'm going to round this little shading up. I'm coming back into my brown and black. Get a little bit of the yellow ochre. And I curve this brush stroke around the leg. A lot of times the way the brush directionality helps shape the object as well. So I'm paying attention a little bit sometimes to the direction of my brush when I'm not scumbling. When I'm not a scumbly.
Scumbling directionality.
Pay attention to the stuff. So I'm just using the edge of the brush to get a crisp edge there. just building up the bear. Use any brush you want to build up the bear.
Apparently, I'm being a bit ornery today, and I didn't know it.
You are?
I didn't recognize it. Maybe I'm like being punchy guy.
Are you?
I don't know.
Did someone think you're being punchy?
No, just joking.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think you're being punchy.
No,
You're,
no.
you're
I
being
mean,
funny.
like, yeah. I got things to say today. Apparently,
Well, I love it. Oh, because you were quiet that one time.
I don't know that one time. which of the 3,000 potential videos do you mean I was quiet that one time? Like,
You know.
uh,
All right. So we got a little bear in there. Look at our little bear. That's a nice underpainting. And what we have done is we have put in a little bit of shading so we can see where we know where we're going to have some shadows. We know where we're going to have some highlights. We've already put in some shape and form. I want to dry that before I get into the underpainting of the face and the scarf. So let's dry that. Dry it.
All right. And we're back to the drying again. What should we talk about during this drying event? There's a lot of information and links down below that you guys can find. That's, like the traceable, link to the website, that like button. There's a like button hidden down there. I promise you can hit it and then say, and that proves you found it. You're like, found it, and just click that like, and that'll let the YouTube algorithm know that you also like it and found it, and that's a really good way of helping. If you got nothing to do while we're waiting for the paint to dry,
What?
hit the like button.
Oh, yeah, you always hit the like button. That's always nice when the like button gets hit. I'm always grateful for that. All right, I'm going to use a 1/2-inch angle now, I think.
Whoosh.
See how it goes. I'm going to use a 1/2-inch angle brush. This is the Catalyst by Princeton. This is a very this is a good and higher end brush for acrylic paint. And I do like the line. It has a poly tip kind of handle. It's really nice. I'm going to take a little water, put it on my brush, wipe off the excess. Let's mix our Cad Red and our Quinacridone. We're going to come here and sort of paint in the baseline of the scarf. The underpainting of the scarfy scarf.
The underscarf.
Underscarf. Yeah, it says underscarf. So that's Quinacridone Magenta and Cad Red. We're going to do a cool thing with a grainer to get the plaid pattern on here.
Are we?
Yep.
All right.
We're gonna have plaid.
You heard her. Oh, Pam said it. More coffee. All right, Pam. I'm gonna be back. You guys have to man the buttons while I'm back. I'll be back.
There we go. All right. You start some coffee. You start something. Painting in the center bow. Bring this in. I use the brush to kind of capture the shape. Just a really direct and straightforward painting method that we're using. I'm going to get some purple involved and mix a little purple into my Cad Red and Quin Magenta. I'm going to come here on that side of the bow, adding a little dark. And then we're going to feather light little flicky brush strokes out, a little bit of a shadow that's kind of implied there. We're exaggerating some things. Put a little shadow right here. And let's add a little one in the tie underneath. And we'll put some shading under the bow right there. Maybe a little more here, some down the scarf. So we're just starting to put some shading in. Yeah, I'm okay. Add a little bit of a shading at the fold at the neck too. So we're starting to see the shape of that. I'm going to rinse that out. I'm going to get my number 6 round. This is the Raphael Sepia round, number 6. I'm going to go ahead and get it wet and get a little black paint. Kind of thin the paint with the water so it flows nicely. I'm going to come here and very carefully paint in the black button eye. All right, I'm going to get a lot more brown. But I haven't rinsed my brush, so it'll have a little black in it. When it's done, it's going to be much brighter, but we want to paint it in a little bit darker. I want to improve the flow of my paint. I'm going to paint in the nose. I'll probably have to I might paint the whole thing cream and then put in the mouth. Probably going to be easier on me. So I'll take a lot of glazing liquid over here and a good amount of white. And I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow ochre and white. Paint that all in with that cream color. Cream! You got this. Paint it all in cream. Come a little bit fussy over the nose. And grab a little bit of my brown and black. And then do the little stitch work there. That's looking really good. All right. John, he may not know I am here. So while John is away, what I will do is I will start to paint in some of the other stuff. John? Nope, still no John. I need a hair dryer. Gotta paint it in the underpainting. I gotta dry it now. Okay. I know, I get antsy. I get so antsy.
All right.
All right. Okay.
She can dry the hair. Oh, well, I mean, dry the, surface. Whoa, the bears come in. You got little eyeballs in there. He's looking really cute. I'm going to scroll up here and see if I missed anything in chat. Doop, 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 doop. Snuggy bear. Yes, this is a very snuggy. I know it's your first time. Nice to see you, Valerie. Yep. Coffee. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Art high fives, Darcy. Good to see you. All the other smiling faces out there.
Smiling faces.
All right.
Let's get a filbert grainer.
All right. I'm going to give you a step.
Yes.
Step it.
So this is a 3/8 inch filbert grainer by Princeton Select. They also have it in the Velvet Touch line. And basically it's a filbert that has little like trims out of it, so it makes little lines. You can just use a filbert if you don't have this brush, but I do recommend having one of these if you ever want to do fur or hair or the plaid texture we're going to do. It really helps. If you just don't have this, a Deerfoot stippler could be very, very nice to do this as well, or you can continue on with your D brush, because it's got a nice scruffy side. I'm going to take my little brush here, my 3/8, and I'm going to get a little glazing liquid on it. I'm going to take some cad yellow, and I'm going to mix it into my yellow ochre. And I'm going to let some white get in there. I'm going to come to the outside of my ears. And I'm going to make little kind of marks. There we go. Maybe a little more white, I think. Just bringing that in. Bring a little more white over here. Yeah, I think it's got to be lighter. A little bit lighter. Yeah, much lighter. I'm going to come back and do this again later. Just brushing this in. I'm going to grab a little bit of my yellow ochre and brush back into the ear to shade it. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm going to rinse off.
Man, I don't know what we're going to do.
I'm going to get a little bit of my burnt sienna. What's wrong?
This is not breve.
Oh, no?
No, this is just the regular old milk.
No, I don't want no regular oil milk. You're on your own.
Okay, I'll drink them both. They're not.
You drink them both.
Oh, yeah.
How is it, regular old milk?
Good.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll have some.
Okay.
I'm taking the black, brown, and a little bit of yellow ochre. And you can see there on that ear, that's how we get that shading and stuff on that ear. Rinse out. I'm going to do the same again over on the other ear, but only after sipping breve. Not breve. Coffee.
They're tasties.
It's still tasty.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's just not as creamy.
We're just a little bit spoiled.
Well, I would say a little bit more than a little bit.
Are there any questions while I'm
Oh, let me look.
Loitering and drinking coffee? Sometimes it's good to loiter in your art.
What do you trying to scroll up here. Most everybody's chit-chatting with each other, which is really nice. Everyone's talking. They think the bear is lovely.
The bear's going to be so cute when it's done.
And he's very dimensional already and very much coming into his own or her own.
He will be super fluffy and super dimensional by the time it's all done. We're even going to have little fur.
Their own Snuggy Bear.
No, another thing I want to suggest is that, I want another sip of this. Why am I rushing? Why am I rushing? I've got time.
Got time.
That's a good slurp.
That's a foamy num num.
There is a review I found elsewhere talking about teachers who chat too much and slurp coffee. That
would be me. I'm the coffee slurper.
His husband is too chatty. I'm like, I wonder who they're talking about. I wonder who. Sometimes you know yourself in the reviews. You're like, yeah, that's legit me. I'm very chatty. Mm. And we slurp some coffee. It's all true story.
We got some coffee. Are we going on to the next step, or is this?
No, we're still on this step.
Same step.
Yeah,
Step.
we're going to finish this other ear, and then we're going to do another
right.
step. So I'm going to take this. It's cad yellow, yellow ochre, and titanium white. I'm going to come here again and just sort of brush this down. This lighter light color. And then I'm going to get some yellow ochre, just yellow ochre. And brush that back up.
Is there any substitute?
My brown. Is there any substitute?
For cad red?
Any warm red. Any red that is slightly orange. If the red reminds you of blood, it's not a good substitute for cad red. If it reminds you of a fiery sunset, it'll work. There we go. Now we have some very fluffy. The ears are wonderful. This is going to be really cute when it's done. So I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to do a new step because we did a lot here.
We did.
And we're going to paint around the face. I'm going to paint up the face all cute.
That seems reasonable. I'll set my coffee down here for a moment. Wow. So thank you guys. Oh my goodness. So many lovely people with us here today. It's nice to see you guys all. If you would like to join us, we have a Facebook group that you can join. I wonder if I can do this real quick between the steps. Next step will be 8. So I can go here and go. Oh, nope. Let me see if I put it on. Oh, there it is. And you can see if you want to join our SMS updates, you can send it right there. That way you'll get text messages before we go live, when we do stuff.
Yeah. We got some cool stuff going on. Like right now we started a new multi-part course where instead of doing a painting in one sitting, we do a little bit for, under an hour and a half. We do a little bit. I think the last one was only 45 minutes. And then we meet each week adding to the painting. And right now we're doing a really gorgeous still life.
On the grapes.
And because of one of our viewers, I believe Derek, made this suggestion, we are going to really, really, really try to get that candle glow. Like the flare off the candle.
Yep.
Without colored pencils, I'm going to give it, because like with acrylic and colored pencils, that's pretty doable, or Derwent, but I'm going to do it with just the paint and the glazing liquid. I think I can. And so we're going to do it. So you have time to catch up on that if you would just like a very nice still life of grapes and wine and walnuts and a candle on a barrel.
No.
It's lovely.
Before we get started here on step 8, I would like to say
8 is great.
Lovely comment from Trish here.
Hi, Trish.
She says, I love that you chat and are chatty and that you slurp your coffee.
Yeah.
Don't ever change.
Yeah, it's nothing like seeing a review for somebody else, which is just really a condemnation of you. I was just like,
wow.
I was like, I resemble that comment. I definitely do.
Yep.
Can't imagine who they're talking about.
But
it was super funny, and John slurping reminded me of it. Like, well, we're slurping again.
Yeah. Slurp again and again.
Yeah.
It's still coming.
Still coming. All right. So we're going to come in here. We're going to shade this head. Now, this top part will be in our lighter color, which is our yellow ochre, a little cad yellow and white. And then we're going to come into our regular ochre, and then we'll get down into our brown and black and ochre, just trying to kind of create some form and shape. And we're going to continue to use the Princeton Select Filbert Grainer. Again, you could use a Deerfoot Stippler. I could probably do this with a hog bristle round, just flicking backwards, flicking like this. Lots of brushes will give you kind of a like rough, kind of directional fur-like effect. A lot of brushes will do that. So you don't have to just have everything all the time. Don't worry. Bring a little bit of white over here, a little bit of cad yellow, a little bit of yellow ochre. A little more glazing liquid so it goes further. Close off my brush better. See how that glazing liquid like almost expanded that paint by like 3 times?
I did.
Yeah, that's why I like it. Flicking, 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 flicking. Back.
Let's see what we can do over here. Oh, we can see some.
I could do the bigger brush of this, but I think I'm going to just enjoy having the control of the smaller brush. I have these in sizes. Yeah, I don't like to be caught without a filbert grainer. Come around here, layering up over the ear. What a nice... It's so fun to paint teddy bear fur. I think this is the first teddy we have painted on the channel. I do this series called Winter Wonder, and I try to change it up between like non-holiday paintings and holiday paintings. And this is one of my non-holiday paintings. It's just a little winter bear. Just a winter, like if you're a fan of winter as a season, it's a good painting.
He's not even holiday related. He's just happy adjacent.
He's happy adjacent.
He's like, you're happy, I'm happy, we're happy together.
You could make him that if you wanted to. I'm just saying, like, I do try to make sure we do landscapes and just, so it's not all just holiday stuff all the way for the whole program. And I try to do about 12 of those. Add a little flick here. Needs a little bit.
You could take it the opposite direction, and he could be your teddy bear.
He could be your teddy bear. I don't really know that we want to go that way.
That's a naughty bear.
That's so weird. Did you watch Ted? Ted doesn't seem like a movie you would even watch.
I just saw a bunch of the trailers.
Okay, because like you don't seem like a Mark Wahlberg guy.
No, I
you don't watch a lot of Mark's work.
No, but there's a talking bear that ate Cheerios and had a midlife crisis. So I don't know.
You liked Alf though.
I was an Alf fan. Yes, true.
So we're continuing to flick upwards with the brushes, kind of creating this hair-like effect.
That's where I got my love for cats.
And you can see sometimes one of the things to think about is like when you're looking at brushes or a teacher has certain brushes and stuff. Again, the reason I can tell you, oh, you could use this brush or that brush is there's always a variety of brushes that you can use, but you can see right away that this makes a fluffy bear.
Fluffy.
Is a fluffy bear. Let's grab
so
some
fluffy.
yellow ochre. Come around here. What's nice about these is they have a really crisp edge, so you can go around really sharp angles.
Yep.
And still have great control.
You darkened that up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. We're going into just yellow ochre. And we're shading. We're shading. We're going to really paint our bear. We're going to paint our bear.
And
we're even going to put like the reflection on the button eyes.
If you wouldn't go anywhere, just hold that brush down here when you get a second and show us the bristles of those. Because yes, they're wanting to see that. You can see that they're kind of they're clumpity.
Yeah, I've made one of these. I took a pair of scissors and I got a cheap filbert and I just went snip, 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 snip.
Snip, 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 snip. You made
my own
one. Yeah.
This one, these are cool. They're done with the machine and they're very predictable. And I like the select line is a good line. Again, middle on your pocketbook. Sometimes it's hard to invest in brushes because they seem like such an expense at first. But if you just wash them every time you use them, just take them to the sink and wash them with soap and water. You don't have to buy my special soap. You just use Dawn if you need to.
Oh, yeah, but our special soap is awesome.
Our special soap is totally awesome, and it is fantastic, and it's for getting acrylic out of brushes, especially if you forgot your brushes with the acrylic on them for a minute. But if you just wash your brushes after every painting session, they will last a very long time.
Made for Sherpettes and Sherpazoids by stunt hands.
That's right. That's a mouthful.
I guess so.
Yeah, that Sherpettes and Sherpazoids is from the early days of the YouTube when communities would name themselves, which was sort of fun. Now I'm bringing this down to the face, but I'm going to come back with a little bit of brown just to kind of give a little roundness, but I just want to make sure we've got a nice coat of yellow ochre because we want room to come back with light fur around the bear.
Mm. We want our lovely bear to be well painted. Now I'm going to come here with a little bit of my burnt sienna and get into my yellow ochre.
bring it along here. Just a little bit of shading. Just a little bit. Just a bit.
Yep.
Just a witty bit. Yeah, I make voices. It's a thing. I have voices in my head and in my show.
I get it.
I have a constant song track playing on in my head, but it's never the whole song. It's just like some section of it, some chorus, some refrain. But never the whole song. It's just
stuck on the hook.
Right? And every other member of my family is musical. Right? I like music and I sing a lot, but I don't do it well or accurately.
You do it fine.
I have joy in it. I can put the button eyes back pretty easily, so. I'm on the little edge here. Kind of down. Look at our little teddy bear go.
Kim would like to know, do you need to be a member to get your questions seen and answered?
No. I answer. So,
sometimes I have a hard time asking questions because Cinnamon will be on a roll and she'll be teaching, and I may not be able to feel comfortable to be like, hey.
On the YouTube channel, it helps if you subscribe, because sometimes if I'm like behind on comments, I can sort it by subscriber.
Right.
And that way I'm getting the subscribers' questions answered. So it does help to subscribe if you're trying to get a comment in. Just leave a comment under a video. That does help, because we get 78,000. Well, we used to. I think we still do get 78,000 questions and comments and things a month. And I try to read it. I get through a lot of it. I see a lot of it. I do. But it does help to subscribe, but not here. Like, we'll answer your question here. Do you have a question? I'm happy to answer.
No. Kim was just curious. She used to be a patron and isn't anymore. Because,
that's okay.
And yeah, once you're a patron, you're always a patron.
Gotta check to see if you're still in the Facebook group, because we tend to not remove people.
Yeah, we don't kick you out.
If you haven't left, we haven't generally removed you.
Yeah, and if that's had to happen, just email support at the Art Sherpa and explain that what you just are. You used to be a patron, but right now you're having to put a pause on that, but you don't want to leave the groups, and they'll make sure you stay in.
Yeah.
It's not even a big deal.
People have ups and downs. We totally get that. But you don't have to be, at this channel, you don't have to be a patron to get your questions answered.
No.
If you're a patron, you really help us do this stuff. You get a special group. You hear about things early. You see things early. You get special content that's just for you. And you get to name the paintings. So, unique content, see things early, special group, get your own newsletter, that kind of thing. You have your own dashboard. We have a special link for the dashboard. If anyone's having trouble finding their patron stuff, you just email support@theartsherpa.com. We'll make sure you have that link. It doesn't matter whether you join on our website or Patreon. You all get the link to the dashboard on our website. But if you join on our website, you can't see anything over on Patreon. It's the same stuff that you get in the dashboard.
Yep.
You don't have to be members at both. Just join where you feel confident, where you feel good, and we'll make sure you have access to all of your stuff.
Yeah, and support will help you with that.
All right, I'm going to get a little bit of glazing liquid and come back into my light fur color again. Let's bring some white over here.
I'll save up some questions and say thank you to Diana. Oh my goodness, thank you for all the patron support here.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We do. It helps us replace cables and cameras. It really does. We're going to come here to this part of the little arm, and we're going to kind of flick this out a little bit. I like to take the flicking out over the edge of the line so that the fluff is a little exaggerated. Feel free to exaggerate the fluff.
Mm-hmm.
Exaggerate the fluff. Exaggerate the fluff. Just bring it around here.
while you're puffing here,
While I'm fluffing
you're a little fluffing. You're doing the same thing you did there around the head.
on the head. Now I'm going to get some yellow ochre. That's yellow ochre and a little bit of brown. I'll bring it down here a little bit. Sometimes I come here and get a, because again, the heater will dry out my paint really quick. What you saw me do to my canvas was mist it with water. That's what I did to the palette. It's just a mister bottle of water. It's not magic. Could be magic. I'm very magical, but it's not.
No, he was noticing that you paint your animals so adorable. Is this how you do most of your animals?
Yeah, I used to do greeting cards and print and paper. And I have a real affinity for the cutie cute.
For fluffy birds?
Fluffy, angry, judgy birds. I can like, people are like, that's not you. I'm like, I can take you back decades and show you it was me. Decades of judgy birds and cute and fluffy animals. Decades.
And is the fluff technique you're using the same as the fur technique?
Very similar. Yeah, the fluff technique is a fur technique. I'm bringing a little more brown here. I'm just trying to make sure got a little bit of shading. Knit. Now I might come and get a little bit of my black on here. It's going to kind of go gray on me. I'm going to bring that right here. Kind of curl that around. I haven't rinsed my brush. I'll bring this along this little edge. And just come down here. Rinse out. Get a little bit of the yellow ochre. I may put out some fresh yellow ochre. I'm going to put out fresh yellow ochre.
Fresh yellow ochre?
Yep. Fresh.
So, let me ask you a question while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Lori accidentally bought some gloss pouring medium.
Oh, that's fun.
What would you use that with other than pouring? Could you use it like an extender? I don't know.
You could use it like an extender. You could use it as a glaze, the pouring medium. You can use it as a glaze. It's highly flexible. It's got an interesting rheology to it. But it all of that stuff, like a lot of times mediums are maybe for one thing, like soft gel medium is for one thing, but you can use it for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you should be able to use pouring medium as like a glaze in thin coats. But I highly recommend paint pouring. It's super fun.
Is this a new step here? Same step?
No, same step.
Same step.
I'm just bringing some yellow ochre and kind of directionally moving the fur kind of down the little arm. There we're doing.
Yeah.
Giving a little personality. Back over to our light color. This is a long step, is what it is. It's a lot of fur. Fur. Teddy. Oh, Teddy. You're so cute. You guys are going to go bananas for the painting this Saturday. Bananas. So I might show you at the end of class if you want to see it. It's really cool. Really cool. Well, I think it's really cool.
I'd agree.
I'm going to grab a little bit of my yellow ochre. Kind of bring that down a little bit. Just using the yellow ochre for the middle range. Get a little bit of this going. Come under here, under the scarf. Edge it along the scarf. A little bit of blend there.
Got some fur focus.
Got some fur focus. We're focusing on the fur. But it's also, we're focusing on the shading of everything too. There we go. Little arm. We can call this a step and we can dry everything and then we'll do the belly and the legs.
That seems reasonable.
Because you guys are working hard.
Mm-hmm.
We're hardly working.
Because you're painting. And that
'Cause
should
we're
be no
painting.
work.
We're working.
You could just be enjoying yourself. Don't calling this, this isn't necessarily work. This could be play. Hard to, know. But thank you for all of you joining us. Thoroughly dry here between each step. That way you don't have any smudges or smears, and especially during the fur process, that's important because you want the furs to stay, you would like the fur to stay nice and crisp. And so it's good to dry thoroughly between those steps to make sure it does that.
Crispity crisp. All right, I'm going to get a little glazing liquid on my brush and take a little of my yellow ochre, brown, and black, making the kind of little gray color. And I'm going to come under here very carefully. Really under here. Nice crisp little bend at the little leg. There's a little yellow ochre, a little burnt sienna, and Mars black in this. Yeah, I can use the brush on its edge to get that like sharp to the ribbon kind of edge, and then I can fluff out. And again, this is our first fluffening. The first of the fluffenings. There are two fluffenings.
Multi-fluffing.
There's multi-fluffing in this particular class. Yes, we must fluff more than once. I'm here with some yellow ochre. Sometimes it helps to get a little glazy liquid involved to improve the flow of the paint. Blend that in there. Give that a little bit of.
Oh, there's
transition.
A good use question about.
Oh, I'd love to answer a question.
So, Junk would like to know.
Hi, Junk.
Chrissy.
Chrissy.
So you add the glazing liquid to the brush before the color. Don't mix it into the color on the palette?
I put it into my brush so that paint isn't drying in my brush. You could mix it into each color and then each color would slow down its drying time. But I like to have a little more control when my glazing liquid gets into the paint. So I do it as I'm painting. Right. And then what naturally will happen, like I'll come here and I can bring some over to this, and all of this will extend and go a little bit further. Some little stuff up there. So yeah, I do put it into the brush rather than into the paint, but you absolutely can put it into the paint. A little bit of belly. We gotta get this bear all shaded in so then we can take them into the cream. Right back into my burnt sienna, Mars black, yellow ochre, which is basically a gray color of what I'm doing. Now we're gonna be piling snow up here, so don't be too stressed at the base of the legs. We've got snow to pile.
Lots of snow.
Lots of snow. Just shading and shading. Come over into your light. Just brushing that in. Now we have a nice little shaded leg. And we're almost done with the other one. Come back over into our black. And get some glazing liquid. Yeah, how you use the glazing liquid is really about your preference in the painting. And I like to control when my paint dries. Sometimes I want it to dry quickly, and sometimes I want it to dry slowly. And so I put the glazing liquid into my brush. Gives me a little bit more control over what's happening. Over here for my juicier paint. And grab a little bit of my yellow ochre, cad yellow medium, and titanium white. Now, if your paint is just drying on you so fast that you can't use it, sometimes what you can do is you can put the glazing liquid into it at the beginning. You do have some choices there. Well, all the choices, really.
That's true.
You have all the choices. Get a little bit of my burnt sienna and phthalo blue. I'm going to get a little bit of a shadow color. I'm going to kind of go back and forth under the little bear. More glazing liquid to help me get it through. So blue-gray. Kind of brushing this back and forth. Using the brush to sort of hide and diffuse. Again, we're going to have a lot of snow fluffed up here. It's just nice to have the shadow under there so that it's got form. We have to dry everything, guys. Yep. Just dry everything.
That makes sense.
Doesn't it make sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense to dry.
Between the layers?
To dry or not to dry is totally the question.
So yeah, definitely dry between those layers. That's going to allow each subsequent layer to go on in a layer and not mix on the surface. That will be much better for you than having it be wet and tacky and not work, because it could sometimes delaminate and stuff like that. So just thoroughly dry it. It won't take very long. Don't need to use heat or anything. Just get it thoroughly dry.
Thoroughly dry. I'm going to mist my paint. And I may put out some fresh white because my white is also starting to crust. Don't want no crusty white paint. Winter problems.
That's
Winter
right.
problems. I'm going to grab a small detail brush. This is a number 3 Corel. Just a small detail brush. It's multimedia brush, so it can be for acrylic or watercolor. I'm going to put on my glasses. Get the brush a little bit wet and come over to my black paint. Little buttons are nice.
That was a good question.
Mm.
So I talked about, so Chrissy was asking, in regards to when I say make sure you thoroughly dry or you'll delaminate, what does that mean?
Or you won't bind.
Yeah, under binding, delamination.
So sometimes if your paint underneath is dry and the paint on top is still damp or wet or still curing, if you come in with a wet brush, it will lift it back up on you. So you want it thoroughly dry so that it's not going to lift back up on you. Because a partial one will do that. I'm going to take my Cad Red and my Cad Yellow. Was I answering the right question?
Yeah,
okay.
Perfect.
All right. I'm going to make an orange. And I'll bring some brown over to it. This orange will have a little more yellow in it. I'm going to come to the top of the nose. Across the top of the nose, I'm going to paint that brighter orange. And go into my oranger orange. Slightly darker. I'm making sure that the nose is crisp. And then I'm going to come down and add some little dashes. Dash here. Dash here. I'm going to take a little white over to my light color. And I'm going to add a highlight to each dash. Just kind of give the hint of stitching. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my blue and my white. I'm going to come into the eye. A little less water than that. Too much water. Add a little shine. Start the little shine that's there. Grab a little white. Add a little bright shine in the center of the little bead of the eye. I'm going to grab a lot of white into my brush. Making a very light color. Noticeable cream. Make sure I'm not hiding any water drops. And make sure that this is painted thoroughly. I may trim this so it's a little bit thinner. Just use the brush at the height of your brush because it gives you a little more control over everything. I'm going to rinse that out. And I'm going to get a brighter orange. I'm going to come to the top of the nose. And just highlight a little bit with some orange at the top. There we go. That's super duper cute. All right, we're going to dry everything because we have a nice little face in now we can work with. That's super duper cute. And then we'll work on the fur and then the scarf.
So, yes, to answer some questions here in chat, if you're looking at Cinnamon's palette, it is a stay-wet palette. And she will occasionally mist that, and then if she has to walk away from her palette for a while, she'll just mist it and then put a cover on it, and then it can stay there for hours, sometimes overnight.
Yeah.
Just depends. And you'll see she just sprayed a little bit there. So
my brushes are all wet.
But that's how she's able to keep it wet. So.
All right. Now we're going to cream, do the top layer for the creaming out the bear.
New step layer?
New step. Whole new step. A lot more white into my yellow ochre mix. And I will come into the ears. And then as I'm coming in, I'm dry brushing a little bit more, but it comes through. We need to lighten all of the fur. have the cream kind of top coat. But the work that we did underneath will keep the bear in, like, with some shading. I'm going to kind of curl this. Just
Looking really nice here.
the longer fur on the fabric here.
Yeah.
But because I shaded everything on the way down, the bear will still have shading, even though he will be quite light. As I get closer to the shaded areas, I might have less of the white fur over it. This is me pushing the paint out of my brush. And worked around the eyes there. This is a very long process, so I can take any questions that you have. Because we have to do this to the whole bear.
Well, yeah.
We're doing this to the whole bear.
To the entire bear.
Mm-hmm. You could do this with just one detail brush if you wanted.
What size sta-wet palette are you using?
I use the 15 by 15. It has the 9 by 12 opening, and it has this side where it's got little cups in it. We have it. If you want to see which one it is, I would ask if one of the mods can grab which palette I have and drop it in chat so you guys can go click and look at it. And you can then know what brand it is. You don't have to buy it from me. I'm just that way you know which one it is. Because Masterson sta-wet palettes, like, which is now owned by New Wave, they come in lots of different sizes. I put a little curve into my little brush stroke here. Teddy, Teddy, Teddy.
Yeah.
Maybe fur it up a little bit more up at the top. All right, moving down as I go. Bring a little bit of white into my yellow ochre. I grab a little glazing liquid so it doesn't dry out on me so quickly.
Now, how do you keep this looking sort of pluggy and all so it doesn't look like it's just got a little pattern of furs?
I don't know what one means,
Well,
pluggy.
so you know how on
I don't
a
know what.
doll's head it's just rows of fur.
If you start to find rows, then come back through and then erratically just go through and hide them by bringing the brush up and down, breaking up the pattern.
That makes sense.
But I think you'll find, like, overall, the effect, when you do it, when you like work it all the way through, the effect really, really works.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I might come up here and add a little more. So as you're painting, you will like notice things and be like, oh, I want to come here and add a little more.
No.
Add a little more, add a little more, add a little more.
When do you know to use zinc white instead of titanium white?
When you don't, okay, one, when you're lightening a color and you don't want it to change foundationally. So like if you add titanium white to cad red, you get a coral that you cannot get a pink. And it's not just a lighter red, right? It just goes instantly coral. But if you add zinc white to your red, it actually just lightens the red, but the hue, the color it is, basically stays the same. That's one time you use it. When you want a transparent white or mist effect is a great time to use it. When you're doing landscapes, clouds, it's very popular among landscape artists because it lets them do a lot of subtlety. Lot of subtlety. And you want to be able to do subtlety. Not that this bear is at all subtle.
I like it.
I like it too. I am not sorry we painted it today. Notice that I'm kind of playing with the directionality of that fur. Oh, he's getting so cute. This is just one of those paintings that just comes together. Be a good painting for a nursery.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, let me go read this here.
Okay.
If I use matte UV varnish in my backyard, what can be used below it so that even spreading it would not damage the floor or wood? Oh, paper? Just newspaper?
Yeah.
Cardboard?
Yeah. Just anything that you don't mind. Like we pull cardboard boxes apart all the time. to use for other things.
You know,
Keep those Amazon boxes.
on Amazon, you should use your Art Sherpa store boxes.
Oh, okay.
And then pop those open, and then use those underneath there, because you get all your art supplies from the Art Sherpa store, right? Right?
No, no,
Right?
that's fine. No, you do not need to. I'm pulling the paint out of my brush. We're just going through this actually quicker than I expected.
Yeah, you're doing good there. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Come down here and then very lightly here. Little Teddy here. Got a different directionality on the belly. Fluffing the belly. Just got to fluff her nutter. Here I'm paying attention to the brush directionality and I'm kind of getting them all the same direction. I'm okay. I didn't, but I could. A little heavier up there. A little blonder. Just keep fluffing. Just gotta fluff your teddy bear. All the fur, 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 fur. Now I'm every once in a while I'm curving my brush stroke. Do a little back flick there. So much fluffing. So much fur, John.
I see
So
all the
much
fur.
But see, it's not actually when you first take in hair and fur and stuff, it feels overwhelming. But when you start like just painting the values first, and then you kind of come in and you do the guard hairs, it's not so bad. Still have nice shading on her bear. Yeah, this would be cute in a nursery.
Mm-hmm.
Bedroom. I always like to think about where the paintings go to live. My goodness. All right. It's
Wow.
time to dry.
All right. It's a long one.
It was a long one.
Oh, I guess
It's time to dry, and we're on to the next step.
thoroughly dry that. Yeah. And sorry for the little bit of we had a little bit of internet kind of connectivity, bloop 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 there. So sorry about that. Sometimes it does that. So when we first moved here, they only had cable, and now they have fiber. So we'll probably be upgrading to fiber at some point here, and that may help with some of that. So
What?
we may upgrade to fiber connectivity.
Oh, yeah. Is it we're having streaming problems?
Sometimes it just gets a little and it doesn't make sense that we shouldn't have that problem, and that's we'll see.
I'm rinsing out my brush and wiping it so that I don't have paint sitting in the ferrule. And I'm going to mist my palette.
Step 12.
Step 12. We're going to delve into this fabric. I'm going to take my Cad Red and my Quin Magenta. Mix them together. And I'm going to begin to come here and start to paint. Might want a little more water here. There we go. I'm using my grainer again. We're going to use it to create the pattern and the fabric texture. Get a little bit of purple.
Just into the
brushing.
painting.
Yeah, I just got into it. Sorry.
I was just watching, like, you just fell right in there.
I just got right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to create this little texture. Brush is good for creating textures.
Mm-hmm.
You could just do a scruffy brush, the D-foot stippler. You just want something that's going to leave you a little fabric texture. A hog bristle brush. All right, so once you get that all painted in, I'm going to come here and Get a little bit of my Dioxazine Purple. Work that into my brush a bit. I'm going to paint a little bit of a square. Maybe a little bit of one up here. Come here and brush that out. And kind of hash across the square. And another one down here. Under that.
Yeah.
If it gets too strong, I can always come back and blend it out. And brush under here. And upward there. Starting to get a little patterning in.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to want to take a little of my glazing liquid and some white. We're going to get a little bit of a pink going, which is the Cad Red, Quin Magenta, Titanium White. I'm going to come here and make that little stripe. Here and make another little stripe. A little stripe across. See, it's starting to give us the little checks of the thing.
I do.
So you can still, it's possible to paint patterns. A little bit there. How's everybody like this?
This is great. Really looking fantastic. Got the stream all settled down.
Stream all settled down.
Yeah.
That's good. Get a little bit there. All right. So when you have started to get some patterning in, you want to rinse out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a little glazing liquid and I'm going to come into my white. a little wet in the load, so I've got a little too much water.
Mm.
Just giving a little hint of the pattern.
Yeah.
Kind of touched it there, so like where the folds were, it kind of goes
Yep.
there.
I'm just
Little
watching.
fold on the knot.
This is just, I kind of got lost in watching here for a minute.
Well, thank you.
A nice pattern.
You just generalize the pattern. I mean, you can be very, very specific and follow it exactly, but I find that just being painterly with it is enough. But at the end of the day, you've got to take things to where your brain is calm with it.
Calm brain.
Calm brain. There we go. A little bit there. There we go. Just a little bit of pattern on the scarf.
That turned out beautiful.
Didn't that come out fun?
Yeah.
Now, dry everything.
Right.
And we're going to use paper towels and a toothbrush to do the rest.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I think I know what's on its way. It's going to be pretty neat. So, but dry it here. Make sure you thoroughly dry. That way, it's, when we go on to the next step, everything is has to be set and ready to go, because you're going to use a piece of paper towel to cover some things. So you're going to want to make sure that it's dry, so when you put it down, it doesn't stick to anything. So just make sure thoroughly dry. Thank you guys for checking us out. Oh, I do think that there are event tickets available, but we don't have all the event info posted up. So that may be out there if you're interested.
Oh, yeah. If this was just not enough painting for you and you'd like to come out and eat and paint all day for a week.
Eat and paint. Yep. And
party.
There's
And
pajama
party.
parties.
There's pajama parties. Then I highly recommend the retreat. All right. So I'm going to take the golden fluid acrylic from earlier we talked about at the beginning, and I'm going to squeeze that out on my palette. And then I'm going to grab the handy dandy toothbrush. This was part of a pack of toothbrushes that came from Amazon, and I just took one of the extra ones to have for splatter. I'm going to go ahead and dip this in here, tap up and down on my palette. Begin to, actually, I need to do a thing.
Do a thing?
Mm-hmm.
What thing?
I'm going to take a paper towel.
I was wondering about the paper towel thing.
Make a little ball.
This minimizes the face spray.
Yeah, and just keep that off the face a little bit. I might use some tape.
You need multi-balls.
Tape my ball and then tape my ball to the thing.
Made a little ball. Boop. There it goes.
There you go. That's all it really takes. Just got to protect it a little bit. I can move it around.
It's the comedy of rolled up paper. Okay.
All right. Because we're snowing.
It is very snowy. That's all you really needed. Some snow.
A little heavier down here
Yeah.
at the front
For snow.
for snow.
And post snow.
Turn your brush, your toothbrush, different directions so that the splatter doesn't make a pattern.
And in between snow.
I want to have control. I get the brush real close to the bear.
That's cool. Wow, there, the snow artistry.
You gotta have some snow artistry. It's hard on your manicure.
It is.
Not that I have one today.
It's one of those things where you almost want to stop right at the place where you're like, is it enough? And then stop there and then come back the next day. Because it's much easier to add some than to remove it.
It's a true story. It is easier to add than remove. Then you're gonna take your little hairbrush, the one that you've been doing all the fur with.
Oh. That was a pretty hard toothbrush, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty firm toothbrush. The firmer it is, the better. If it wouldn't work in your teeth, it's just perfect for this. Deerfoot stippler would work here too. I twirl this brush though to make sure that the little snowflakes have the, irregularity that they need. It's fun to just put some more focus on the snow.
Yep.
Twirl the brush. Oh, he's just snowed up. He's so snowy.
So very snowy.
Oh, very snowy. You can also do the two brush whack method, which is a fun snow method.
Click, 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 click.
Yes. Little challenging on your brushes, but does a good job. Little snow at the top of the foot. It's very helpful to focus some snow somewhere so that it looks like it's collected on your bear a little bit.
That's excellent.
And you can just touch up down low using your brush. And I may come back again with my brush, my toothbrush. Get a little more paint on it. Well, I'm going to have to order another bottle of this.
That's not a worse thing.
I guess that's not the worst thing. Tap it up and down. Kind of come up the sides here, really frost it. Frost it! I like to concentrate on the little foreground here. So there's just more of it and it's more energetic. And get rid of little holes. I'll let that go until I'm happy. And I am happy.
I think it's great.
I have splattered everything. My brushes are splattered. I'm splattered. Everything in this area is splattered. All right, now we're going to take the hairdryer and really thoroughly dry this.
Thoroughly
Thoroughly dry it.
All right. Whoop. All right. Sorry, there's a little jitteriness there. I'm not sure what that's about. We're going to see if we can, fix it. But yeah, maybe it's better. Okay. That looks a little better. Sorry for that jitteriness. It'll probably be better on the rewind. So if you missed something there, just, yeah, if it is seeing a little bit of lag, Amy, you can rewind and it'll probably fix it. So sorry. There's just a little bit of internet buffering, and I apologize about it. I'm going to see if in the next month I can upgrade our internet service here from cable to fiber optic, and that's one on my high priority list to get done next. So, you think you're?
I'm going to be signing, but I got to touch the eyes.
Yeah, touch up some eyes. Is this a new step here?
This is the signature step, but I'm going to be do touch ups. This is the touch up step.
Touch up step. So we're going to call it 14, not 13. 14th step.
Did we get past it? 13?
Yeah, this is now 14.
Oh, excellent. I'm going to come here and just make sure that my eyes are still bright and crisp. Anything, if you lost your nose, if you lost any of your features, this is when you would come and put those back, because it'll make a difference on how the painting stares out at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, my iPad looks crazy. I think I'm going to take my black today and sign. I could sign in my red, but I think I'm going to take some black. It's always interesting to sign over snow splatter because it's like bumpy. It's like off-roading with your brush. And again, this is the number 3 Corel round. It's just a multimedia brush. It has a very nice point. Important to have detail brushes with some nice points. All right. We've had a journey today. We've had a journey.
We certainly have.
That came out really well.
You did.
It did. It came out really well. That was a really fun one to do. I enjoyed it. I'm hoping you guys are liking. Oh my goodness, I'm all splattered and. There you go.
The Sherpa has landed.
I've landed. Oh, I landed. So this is how I would paint a teddy bear in snow. I hope that you enjoyed painting your teddy bear in snow with me. I think this is really, really fun. Now, can you grab Saturday's class? It's in the photography cube.
Okay.
If you can.
Yeah.
I just want to show you guys what's going on Saturday. So if you're still here, I want to show you what you can do Saturday because it's super cute. And I think it's maybe one of my favorite from this winter wonder. Yes. So this is Saturday's painting. There you go. That's what we're painting on Saturday. So if that looks good to you, it's going to be premiere. It's going to be at 12 p.m. Eastern, and I will be in the chat answering questions. This one we had to do recorded because John's got to run an errand, and so we weren't going to be able to stream. But I will be on my phone answering questions, and I think this one is really fantastic. So I hope you're excited about it, and I think the series is going really well together. You know, the winter series, the landscapes and all of that are working out really, really well. Now, after that, I'm going to do something completely different and unexpected because I think we'll all need a break from the winter. So I'm gonna warm us up and take us someplace tropical pretty soon. But that's Saturday's class. And then next Tuesday at 5 p.m. is class 2 of the still life. So if you want to do the still life with us, just go back to class 1 and paint the background and the grapes and get the sketch in, and you'll be fully caught up. And then Tuesday, we're going to continue on. And as per request, we are going to be like such a deep dive on that candle flare. It's tough to do that in acrylic, but I just thought, let's go for it. Let's see if we can get there without colored pencils or Derwent or an airbrush. Let's see if we can just get there with the tools that we generally have in our studio and our brush bucket without needing anything special. Now, if there was anything today that you were just like, everything that you saw today on my show, I do have for sale in my art store. But you don't have to get it from me. It just is there if you'd like to. It's there if you'd like to. So if you're like, I need one of those grainers. If you're like, I don't want to make a grainer, I want to buy a grainer. That's completely okay. But they are really makeable. So that's there. And if you want to share your version of your teddy bear with me on Facebook, there's a group called the Art Sherpa Official, and it is a closed group. We curate it, and it's for when you want to share tutorials that you do with me. We have some other days for other stuff too. It's a fun group. But if you want to share this with me, and it's a kind group. You've got to be kind to be in the group. We don't put up with any meanness or controversy, as they say, controversy, controversy. I always like how it's said the 2 different ways. So it's a good, safe place to share. Or if you want to share and you need it to be private because you're giving a painting as a gift, then that's another good place to always be able to get advice, talk to other painters, but keep your painting a secret. As long as the person you're giving to isn't in the group, they can't see it.
Right.
If you're not on Facebook because of reasonable reasons, right? Facebook can be a lot. It can be extra. So maybe you've said no more Facebook. I'm also on TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, Threads, and Blue Sky. I'm not on X anymore because it's gotten a little X-rated for me. And I was like, help, I need an adult. It was just too much in my feed of stuff that I was not ready to see. So I'm not over there anymore.
Yep.
But I'm not ignoring anyone over there. That's just why I'm not over there. I had a couple things in my feed a couple of times that just really freaked me out, and I was like, from accounts I wasn't following. So we've broken up. We've just had to go our separate ways. But I'm in all the other places, and you can just tag me. I check my Instagram tags all the time. I'm on Threads all the time. I'm on Blue Sky now daily, so you can reach me. And Pinterest is a crazy fun place. People don't think that you can follow me over on Pinterest, and I post up over there all the time. So you don't open up an account though to follow me. You don't gotta start a new social media account. Just if you're there already on your own social media and you want to follow, that would be great, and we could share artwork there. So that's how you share with me, or on Patreon, because there's a public chat
Right.
on Patreon, and you can post pictures there. And if you follow me, even on Patreon, you don't have to be a patron, but say you're over there on the free account just following.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, I do public posts, and I let you guys see stuff early just because you were kind enough to follow me over there. And remember, if you signed up on the website, everything on Patreon will appear locked. And all you got to do is write us at support@theartsherpa.com, and we have a dashboard for you that gives you all the things. It's the same things. It's the same things.
Right.
And then if you're in group, you also see the same stuff because I share it in the patron group.
Mm-hmm.
So that's there. So that's all the things you need to. I told you too many things, but that's all the things that you could know
That's
about
all we need.
that. So on that note, I hope you had a good time painting today. I had a fantastic time with you guys. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Don't forget to sign up for text messages if you want to be texted when we're going live or when we're dropping a video. And outside of that, I want you to be good to yourself, be good to each other, and I want to see you and an easel real soon. Bye-bye.